So I wonder if we get 2 triggers of this. So I want to get more value, so I'll go ahead and cast this. And it's going to be a 4/2, and then we get to surveil when it dies and when it enters. So there's going to be a lot of triggers here. Alright, cool. So that happens first, right? We surveil. We don't need that. And then, yeah, we do want to take action, so we drew into that. Yeah, we do want to take action, so we drew into that. Okay. Removal spell, keep that on top. Okay, so that is the value that the engine this deck was seeking. Hey there, cons. Today we're going to look at Morbid Machinations. It is the green-black golgari starter deck. We're going to do a quick overview of what's in the deck. Starting in the 1 slot, we have Lenore Elves, just the tried and true Old Faithful Mana Dork. Vampiric Rites, you get to pay 1 and a black to sack a creature to gain a life and draw a card, so gives us something to sacrifice our creatures and also get some card advantage. Undying Malice, this is a combat trick that reads when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a 1/1 counter on it. So if we offer a trade with our opponent, this will get us a little more value out of that exchange. Infestation Sage, this is a sticky creature, so as it dies you create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token with flying, so it's a good target to sacrifice for some of our effects. Eaten Alive, you can either pay 1 black and sack a creature, or pay 3 and a black to exile target creature or planeswalker, so it's a good removal spell. Reassembling Skeleton, this as long as you have access to 1 in a black, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tab. So it's something to recur from the graveyard to sacrifice over and over. Vampire Gorman, this you get to sack a creature and draw a card, and this can't be blocked this turn. So gives us card advantage and a little bit of evasion. Scavenging Ooze, this is a little graveyard hate, so you pay a green to exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and you gain a life. So we get to grow the Ooze, and then we also can, get rid of some of the good cards in our opponent's graveyard. Wary Thespian, this is a 3/1 body. When it enters or dies, surveil 1. So we get to dig through our answers and put the bad cards in the moment in our graveyard. Otherwise, keep the good cards on top. Infernal Vessel, if this dies and it wasn't a demon, you get to return it to the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So it can be a 4/3 stat line. Midnight Reaper is a bit of card draw. As long as our non-token creatures are dying, we lose a life and then we draw a card. Eager Truffle Snout is a 4/2 trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a food token. So a bit of life gain, and then, some trample beat down. Felling Blow, this is removal in green. Spinner of Souls, so whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you may reveal creatures from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. So we get to dig for more creatures and hopefully play them out as the game progresses. Cackling Prowler, this is a 4/3 with Ward 2, so it is a little bit more difficult for our opponents to interact with. But at the beginning of your on step, if a creature died this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, so it grows. Wardens of the Cycle, good utility. You either gain 2 or you draw a card and lose a life as creature dies on your turn at your end step. And then Tragic Banshee is removal on a stick. So assuming something died, then you get to give a target creature -13/-13, which effectively kills stuff. And then Needletooth Pack, it is a 4/5 morbid. You get to put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, so it can grow anyone on our team. And then lastly, the Curve Topper is Quilled Great Worm Trample. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage during your turn, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. You may cast this card from your graveyard by removing 6 counters from among creatures you control in addition to paying its other costs. So it rewards us for connecting with our creatures, dealing combat damage to a player. They get to grow. And then if we happen to run out of gas, or we're in top deck mode and not drawing good cards, you can cast this from your graveyard, assuming you meet the condition of removing 6 counters from among creatures. So that is Morbid Machinations. Rewards us for things dying on our turn, especially. And then let's hopefully see some of these cool cards. Take it for a spin. Right, our opponent goes first. We have 2 in play. We have both colors of mana. Let's see if we can ramp into something good, right? Try to apply some pressure against it. Okay, they get a cat. Draws them a card. Right, ramp into some good stuff. This 2/1 dies. It enters 2 1/1 counters on it, and it becomes a demon. That they fought their cat. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I'll play tap land. Life. That at sorcery speed. Let's just cast this side. Back in, see what they do. Alright. Good Fortune Unicorn. Yeah, I guess we can kill it. Gotta get the most value out of this. Do the, you know. Actually, undo. Attack first. Offer the trade. Okay, now we do it. Draw a card. Get a demon. Sweet. And we get an Undying Malice, alright. Alright, we're doing the thing. Have another one. I land for turn. Get this out there. Do the trick. It's back. Card. We'll get the sticky. Right. Keep. Alright, that's a good target for stuff. So, I think we're gonna first mate. Attack a creature. Or we can just pay 5. Nah, sack a creature. Kill it. Creature. Card. Land. Oh. We're applying the pressure here. We're calling the shots. Okay. And this might be a concession from our opponent. Sticking it out. Okay. Wanted to see if they drew into something. Okay, our opponent goes first. We have some early turn plays. We got some late turn plays. I guess we'll keep. So, get another source of black mana. A decent turn here. That's okay. Play some of this stuff out. We have like an awkward hand right now, and our opponent has a better ramp than we do. They're hitting their curve better, I should say. Good that that ate that up. No blocks. Not sure why they aren't swinging in with their flyer, but so my opponent hasn't shown anything too crazy. Yeah, that's fine. So the whole idea of having more black mana would be better. That's okay. Smooth out. And our opponent isn't playing anything too crazy, but they are drawing. Doesn't quite do it. We don't really have a good turn, so we'll go ahead and declare the block. Sack it to draw a card, right? So we don't take damage, get card draw. Alright. 4 mana. Shuffle Snout matches up okay against the 1/3. And then we left 1 mana open for Undying Malice, so we just don't get blown up. So that happens. Now we have a 5/3 instead of a 4/2. They don't appear to be hitting their land drops. Okay. So that's -1/-1 unless something dies. So we'll swing in because it has trample. That gets in. And then create a food token. So we can either play out the skeleton and sack it and get some food, or we can get a body on the field. I'd rather get a body that can block. Oh, they did hit their land drop. Thinking, okay, Fiendish Panda. So now that is the removal, or the card that we would want to remove. That's fine, but not sure why they're not swinging in with their flyers. So we could just felling blow it, which is pretty. Right, that works. Non-panda. Don't need to gain life quite yet. I'd rather play out the skeleton, and we go ahead and get in there. Double block, that's fine. We still get trample damage for food. Creature dies, so we get more value. We get to put 2 1/1 counters on something. Let's spread the wealth. So we grow the 1/1 to a 3/3, so it attacks into the Dazzling Angel. Assuming we get there. They're looking at that. Okay, that's fine. And they do have flyers. They are gaining life. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't quite have what we need here. We're gonna hang on to the Banshees. We're gonna keep mana open for either food or do sacrifice in responses. That is something we also would like to remove. So if we get a mana, we can sack something and get the Banshee, Pride Mate, off the board. But they're playing their hand out, they're gaining life, growing the Pride Mate. They'll have their flyers. Yeah. That's growing. We can eat a food. Alright, there's a land, so We'll attack in first. See what happens there. Predictable. Okay, then we get to use the Banshee. Move the Pride Mate. And keep the next Banshee open. We can put the skeleton back on the field. That gets to grow there. They have a... Okay. So there's the second target, or the target for the second Banshee. Alright. We can go ahead and do that. The Banshee gets more value out of its battlefield effect. So I'm okay with trading there. Fine, that's fine. Play the Banshee. Get rid of the Pride Mate again. Do we want to draw a card or gain life? Gain life from that tap land. Actually, we'll hang on. Give us options. Need to rush that because they both can be activated at instant speed. Alright, they're playing all these flyers. More flyers, empty-handed. Got more life. But if we survive, we get more engines into drawing answers here, right? Let that happen. In our life. Okay. We can't block anything. I'll do that. So if they choose to block our skeleton, we can, in response, sack it for the vampiric rights to get more effects. Double block is good. We'll allow that. So we shut down some other flyers. Happy with. We are getting pretty low. All right. Wow. I drew into card draw and life gain. That's good. And more flyers. I probably would be more aggressive. So we can't do that. Just in case we don't draw into something. And now, okay. Oh, we can do that multiple times. That is clutch. All right, we need to. Okay, there's some life gain. All right. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Might as well just play everything out, right? This can be done at instant speed. Fine. So that happens. Okay, we want to keep mana open to exile stuff out of their graveyard with our scavenging units, so we're gonna hang back. We do have a creature with reach now, so it appears that we are stabilizing. Rid of the things that recur stuff. And rid of their payoffs. think we're getting there. Start with combat. Right. We want to see what's on top of our library here. That's a good payoff. We'll play out the ear truffle snout. We'll keep mana open for doing some more scavenging ooze shenanigans. Okay, well, in that case, we'll instead reassemble the skeleton and sack the skeleton to draw a card. The Reaper into our hand, right? Action. Wait. Okay, so this is stabilization. Combat. Okay. Rose. Jumps there. You know, I'd sack this guy, draw a card, take action, more information. Oh, there's just 5 damage. Yeah, we'll let that go through. Happens. Play this out. Give us some life gain. Just play more creatures. Just gain the life. Alright. Yeah, that does it. So we were very slow to play out our banshees to remove their, you know, fiendish pandas, their Johnny's Pride mates. And then once, I'm not sure why our opponent didn't swing out their flyers, but once kind of got towards the end of the game, we just wanted to survive and then have our engines online. So the morbid machinations, the machine was on. Taking a look at our opening hand, we don't have an untapped green source, but it'd be sweet to ramp into some things. So we do go first. We can hopefully double spell on our second turn. It's a silly thought, but this land enters tap, this one enters tap, and you gain a life. So it's better to play this one out. To hide information from your opponent that you're able to gain life. It typically won't matter, but the thought. Alright, so that's the double spell we were talking about. Potentially we could ramp into a 4-drop. Okay. Let's attack in. No. We'll play it slow here. Lay out the wary thespian. Hands are nice. We'll keep that one. Turn. And just pass. Alright, yeah, now we're better positioned. So, Undying Malice is a nice combat trick. And if we have Spinner of Souls, we can dig into more creatures. Oh, that's why we're slowing down. Right. Lay that out. Turn. And then now we can in, right? It's likely they don't. Okay, they do something. That's fine. It's a-okay. We want to draw more answers, so let's see how they choose to block here. I'm assuming they go for the 3-1. Okay, they do. So I wonder if we get 2 triggers of this. So I want to get more value, so I'll go ahead and cast this. And it's gonna be a 4/2, and then we get to surveil when it dies and when it enters. So there's gonna be a lot of triggers here. All right, cool. So that happens first, right? We surveil. We don't need that. And then, yeah, we do want to take action, so we drew into that. Yeah, we do want to take action, so we drew into that. Okay, removal spell, keep that on top. Okay, so that is the value that the engine this deck was seeking. That's why we wanted to slow it down to make sure we get the most value out of our death effects, so to speak. So they're playing this guy, which can grow. It attacks. All right. So what do we want to do here? Could remove that and try to bully our way through, or we can do the combat step first, see what they would like to do. This is my preferred course of action here. We can offer the trade. Oh yeah, that gets us a couple triggers. We get to surveil, we get to dig for more creatures. So more information before we commit to any of our mana. Yeah, we can keep that on top. Now, we have 4 mana, 5. So we could double spell. I'm leaning that way. I want to go a bit wider and get the most use of all of our mana. And Scavenging Ooze and Eager Truffle Snout are both great options to help kind of close out the game. Yeah. So, have a lot of Dauntless Veterans. They have pick to produce mana. Alright. So, they have 1 creature in their graveyard. Well, let's again keep going with their declared attack. See how they choose to block and interact here. Yeah, that's fair. We'll allow it. It's a fair trade because they can't grow with their Anthem effect. We do get our food, we do get to action there. I'm gonna play this out to draw more cards. I'll play that out to get more creatures. We don't need to gain life. That's unfortunate we couldn't play that land out on our turn, but we have 4 cards in hand, they have 1. Okay, that's a good card. So that might be it. Alright, yeah. So we just had the machine online and outgrinded them. There was a couple lines of play where I could have rushed and played out my hand. That wouldn't gain us the value that this deck is seeking to gain. So when I said to slow down, we got more value out of the death effects of our creatures, and then ultimately we just snowballed that into something our opponent couldn't handle. Hey there, cons. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you out there in the plane of Tarkir.